Welcome back to day 3 of Banned Book Week 2018, where we are discussing A Time to Kill by John Grisham. So today we are discussing chapters 15 through 21 of this book. I have a lot to talk about, so let's get right into it. So the major thing that happened in this part of the book is that Carl Lee had been conned, for lack of a better word, into using a sleazy, he's referred to as a pimp a lot, pimp's lawyer, and their friends, acquaintances, I think Carl Lee saved his life in Vietnam. I believe that's what it was. And so he has this connection to this, sleazy, again, they refer to him as a pimp, and he has this presumably fabulous lawyer who is in Memphis, and Carl Lee decides to replace Jake with him since his friend Kat, the sleazy pimp guy, says that he will pay all of the fees and pull whatever strings he needs to. This guy is fabulous, just go along with it. And so Carl Lee agrees, but then Jake finds out, he gets mad, he figures out who this person is, and he contacts him and figures out that he is not licensed in Mississippi. He is only licensed in Tennessee, and as we've covered before, I don't know if I touched on it or if it was just in the book, but the Judge Noose, which is kind of an unfortunate name, the judge does not like lawyers who have not passed the bar in Mississippi where these cases are taking place. And so after a little bit of thinking and convincing from other characters, Carl Lee finally decides to rehire Jake, and he does so, and that happened right before our portion ended. And so now Jake is back on the case, and the word is getting back out that he is on the case again. I totally forgot to mention my tea of the day. We have green tea today in the Banned Book mug to go with my awesome green jacket and green lipstick and various other green things in my life. So here's to green tea and this book. Yesterday I mentioned that the KKK has taken an interest in this case, and today in our reading they have sort of threatened Jake. They have burnt a cross in his yard, and that is kind of a symbol of threat and malice and all of that. And I forget who says this, maybe Carla, Jake's wife. Anyway, but somebody says that this is a sign that next time it will be a whole lot worse than burning a cross in your yard. And so that was kind of where that left off, but I assume the KKK will reappear throughout the rest of the book. I'm not quite sure where this is going. I assume they might be after Jake's life. We can only assume that, maybe even Carl's life, but I don't know for sure yet. So basically their plan to have Carl Lee be found not guilty is to plead insanity. And in order to do that, they need an official doctor to say, yes, he was insane at this moment. And Carl Lee, I believe it's Carl Lee, someone points out, I just highlighted it because it was in, I believe, the last chapter. If not the last chapter, then the chapter before that. Anyway, somebody points out that he is being tried by the state, and the doctors have to be of the state. And so he is being evaluated by the people who are against him, technically, in a way. And so, actually, let me find the actual line, because I did highlight it. Yeah, it was Carl who said this. He says, "Them doctors work for the state, right? The state's prosecuting me, right? What difference does it make what I say or do? They've already made up their minds." And that was in the very last chapter. In my edition, it's 4 pages before the very end. It's down here, this little pink part. And so I thought that was a really interesting point, and I hadn't thought of that yet. And I'm glad that this touched on that, because honestly, I probably wouldn't have picked up on that. Maybe somebody in the comments would, but me personally, I don't think I would have caught on to that. Another person we cycle back to is Tanya in this section, and I think it's important that the book sort of keeps reminding us of her and how she's doing, because she is the victim of the initial incident that sparked this whole thing, and so I think we really need to keep an eye on her and how she is doing as well. She is dealing with some post-traumatic stress and nightmares and all of that, and she talks about sleeping with her mom and her brothers and all of that, and so as a reader we're supposed to feel sad for her, obviously, but also hopeful that she will get better. Gwen mentioned seeing a therapist in Memphis, and obviously the cost is brought up in that, and so we will see what will become of that in the rest of the book. And then the last thing I wanted to touch on, more of a lighthearted thing, I thought I'd finish this book with a more lighthearted and positive note, is Deputy Hastings. He has popped up every once in a while in the book, and I have like made a note of him, and I find it funny. I don't know if this was supposed to be funny or if I just have a weird sense of humor, but I find it funny, and I like how he only exists to drive other people places. Like, I think he's popped up in about 2 or 3 scenes, and in all of those scenes he has been just the driver. But when he pops up here, he, in addition to being the driver, people come to the courthouse or the jail. I believe they're one building, or at least in the same general vicinity. And so Hastings and the other guy, Ozzy, are driving 2 separate cars with different people in them, and Ozzy has Carly in the back seat, and everyone's like, where's Carly? Is Carly in this car? And Ozzy's like, no, he's in the other car. And so they talk to Hastings, and Hastings is like, I'm Carly. And they're like, well, why are you in a deputy uniform? And he's like, they made me deputy. And then they just drive off, and I think that's really funny, and I think I picked a good spot to end yet again. And I think he's there to be like comic relief and all of that in this very, very dark storyline. It's good to have a character or two who's just kind of fun and funny. We saw that with the guy at the very beginning who owed Ozzy a favor. What is his name? Bumpus. I don't know, I thought he was kind of a comical character too. But so far, everything Hastings has done has been driving related, and I think that's kind of funny, and circles back to what I said about John Grisham's love of cars. I mentioned that, I think on Monday. I think it was Monday. I know nothing about cars, but cars get mentioned every once in a while in this book, and so I can't help but think that John Grisham knows a lot about cars. Maybe that's not true, I don't know, that's just from a reader's perspective, that's just how it came off to me. And so yeah, I'm going to end it there. Let me know what you thought of this section. Tomorrow we are reading chapters 22 through 28. At the moment we are just about halfway through the book. Let me show you. That's what it looks like. This is everything we've read so far, and this is what we have left. My spine is a lot more jacked up now. I don't know if you can see that. But it is what it is. As I said yesterday, I try to avoid breaking spines, but for Banned Book Week, I see it as kind of a battle scar, badge of honor type of thing, and so at the end of the week, we'll see how banged up this book is, but I still love it, and I still care about it, and if I want another copy, I will just buy another copy, but this was bought specifically for this, and I wanted to show it. So that is all I have for you today. Let me know what you're drinking. As I said, I'm drinking green tea with my green lipstick and green jacket, etc. Let me know your thoughts on this section, and let me know your thoughts on the challenging of this book and the banning of books and all of that, because this is for Banned Book Week, and even though there wasn't really a ton today specifically to talk about, I have been, and we will touch more on that, especially at the very end when we talk about the book as a whole on Saturday. That's all for me tonight. Specs, hugs, rock and roll. Love you.